Hi, I'm Sean,
Hi, and I'm Shannon.
and we're the host of Wifey and Baby Mama. Thank you all for joining us again this week. Last week was something, right? I hope
Oh,
I hope I
yes.
can hold you guys' attention after Shannon's interview last week. Those are some big shoes to fill. She did an
Yes.
amazing job. You did an amazing job, sister, as did our guest Tamara. And I again am grateful to you guys for spending an hour of your time with little old me. But we are
Ah,
back to our regular scheduled program this
yes.
week. Yeah, we have a
Yeah, and
good
I have to
comeback
say,
episode.
oh,
Go
yeah,
ahead,
I'm
honey.
sorry, Shauna. I'll
No,
interrupt
you're
you real
fine.
quick. I have to say, I want to thank Tamara once again. If she's listening to this, I appreciate her help, um, helping me with those questions. And also, for those of you who didn't hear it, you know, please go back and listen to it anytime. Listen to it a couple of times. And then if there are additional questions, let us know at wifey and baby mama. Wifey and baby mama at gmail.com. Let us know if there are additional questions because we could always do a part two. I'm sure tomorrow will come back and we can do a second, you know, Q&A with Sean. So just let us
We
know.
might can
Just
work
wanted to
that
throw that
out. We
in there,
might can
Sean.
work that out. We might can work it out.
All
But
right.
this week, for now, we are back to our regular scheduled program. So we
Yes,
have a good
we
comeback
are.
episode for you guys tonight, and it is titled Children for Checks. I told
Ooh.
you we're about to get off into, but yeah,
Mhm.
Shannon said, "Ooh." We're about to get off into this thing. We're going to discuss the trend of women who are having babies for financial gain. And although we see it every day, it's still a sad situation. Women are literally
Yes.
scouting men as meal tickets.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
bad enough when you do it to gain a desired status for yourself, but it's also your business because you're grown. Shannon, we did a few episodes on
Right.
why people shouldn't live that way, right? But in the
Yep.
end, to each his own. And we realize it's your life. But our focus tonight is to ask women to think differently when it comes to having children, just to secure a certain lifestyle. Now we know everyone wants a financial stable man who can spoil them and be a dynamite dad to their kids.
Mhm.
I mean, who wants to ride the struggle bus?
Right,
Every
right.
woman needs and deserves a provider, protector. I rode the struggle bus for years. It's not a good look, trust me.
Mhm.
So please
Mhm. Mhm.
understand that's definitely not what we're asking of you.
Yep.
That's what,
Yep.
that's just why we get on here every week in hopes to lead you to make better choices, and learn from our stories. And
Right.
when done right, family is like the most beautiful thing. And even doing everything right, Shannon, in the beginning doesn't negate difficulties, right?
Oh,
Hardships and
right.
trouble.
Oh,
It
yeah.
still may
Yeah.
come. But when
Mhm.
you've committed to that, to loving each other, under that umbrella, you take those vows in faith, it will always work
Mhm.
itself out. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. And for women out there who, they're like, "Oh, I don't care what you girls are saying because my life is great because I have this child with
Hmm.
this man that's, showering us with all of this. Our lifestyle is great. I don't want to give up this lifestyle. So it's not about the child, it's about your lifestyle.
It's still the lifestyle.
We probably won't reach those folks. Those
And that
girls
and
are
that's okay.
hardcore. Yeah,
They
we want to
are.
tell
And
the
they're
ones that, yeah, recognize those people.
that are listening. We
Yeah.
want to tell the ones who are,
Hmm.
are considering. You're like, hey, I can't make it with this job or this penny
Yeah.
job. If I have a kid, but choosing to have
Hmm.
children for money is always a recipe for heartache and confusion.
Yeah.
Children
Yeah.
shouldn't be conceived as pawns, or come ups. And fellas, this topic is geared for the women. It's not for you. But we're gonna get to y'all next week. Trust it. We always get we always follow up. But in listening to
Right.
this episode, please understand if you are a successful man, if you have those six-figure jobs, contracts, street money, inheritance, however you get it, you need to be mindful
Hmm.
as well that it's women that prey on pockets, just like Shannon said. It's no matter what we say here
Hmm.
tonight, it's still going to be women with that mindset. So you guys need to be
Yeah.
mindful,
Right.
when you're dealing with
Right.
that.
Yeah.
Shannon,
And
you
then
remember that movie? I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
And I was gonna
Which
ask if you
movie?
remember
I know
that
you
movie.
always come with the
You
good
know, you
movies.
know, you know I gotta come with the movies, baby. You remember the movie Lottery Ticket? It was Lil Bow
Oh,
Wow, Ice Cube.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yep,
and
yep.
Loretta
Mhm.
Devine, I think, played the grandmother.
Mhm.
And remember the real pretty girl from the neighborhood? Her name was Nikki, I
Yep.
believe. Y'all know I'm gonna mess up her name too, but I think her name was Nikki. I think I got that right.
I
If
don't
not, one of
remember her
y'all,
name.
one of y'all
Mm-mm.
email me and correct me. But I think her name was Nikki. Anyways, um, Bow Wow just everybody just all the guys loved her, right? But she just looked down on
Mhm.
him and the common guys and everyday, his friends.
Mm.
But once the word was out, remember that he had 1 million, she came straight
Yep.
for him. And he fell
Of
for her
course. Of
until he
course.
realized and he
Mhm.
asked her, hey, remember they were talking about using protection? She's like, we don't need protection. He's like, wait a minute. Is this about the money? And I believe she said
Mhm.
something along the lines of everybody getting pregnant by a baller but me. I want my turn too. Those are the kind of women this episode is geared for. Change your
Yeah.
minds if it's not too late. And even if you're
Right.
in it, even if you already did it, still change your mind to refocus on the child because that's always the most important thing. So,
Mhm.
children are
Yeah.
gifts.
Yeah. And like you said, Sean, we don't want to struggle. We're
No,
definitely not looking for someone that's going to take us down. Like, my grandparents would say, you can do bad by yourself.
absolutely.
However, ladies, look at a guy, if he's hardworking, he's loyal, he's faithful, he's, all these things, he just might not be where you think he should be financially. You grow together, you
I was
build
about to say,
together,
meet each other halfway. Then
meet
you
each
get a
other
job.
halfway and
Meet each other
grow. Yeah,
halfway.
but and
And grow.
grow, just say, hey, or even if you both come in, strong, you both six-figure salaries or whatever, you still need to build and grow and go up from there. Don't just settle for mediocrity. I tell my husband all the time, because I've said on the show, we grew up differently, have different backgrounds. So
Hmm.
my mother and the way I grew up in, South Dakota and all that, and even when I got down here, her voice is always in my head. We grew up with a mindset of succeeding. My
Hmm.
husband grew up with a mindset of surviving. So we look at things differently.
Right.
And I'm trying to get him, well, I think he's there now after all this time, um, to start thinking about success versus
Succeeding. Hmm.
survival. I'm like, we're not thinking about how to make our, mortgage payment. We're thinking about how we build businesses. Let's do that,
Absolutely.
you know?
Absolutely. I
So,
get it.
yeah. So, ladies, find someone you can build with, you can grow with. Say, hey, we're about to become the next power couple. We're not there
That's right.
yet, but we can get there. You know,
But
do it
don't use a
together.
child, yeah, but don't use a child to insert yourself into that situation.
That's
Like I
right.
said, it's no good.
That's right.
Children are
It's
gifts,
no
they're
good.
precious. Yeah, they're
Hmm.
precious cargo. They're people. And they deserve love
Yeah.
and honor and all the things, God meant for us to have. They're not your way out of the hood, to early
Nope.
retirement. They're not even to win a prize on the
Yeah.
man, you have a baby as a prize to win a spot on the man list. No,
Right.
besides it being wrong morally, it can also cause a lot of damage physically and emotionally when a child is brought into the world under those circumstances.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the most detrimental part of all of this is when the pregnancy turns volatile, between the parents.
Mm.
One or two things are going to happen if you have a child under these conditions. The child, the father will either resent you and not want anything to do with the child, which means your decision has now robbed that baby of having a bond or a relationship with the father. Or they'll do the right thing and become a part of the child's life, and then they can't stand you. And what kind of life is that
Mhm.
for the kids? Constantly
Mhm.
seeing their parents at odds. It will affect them for
Right.
sure, especially as they get older, because all that bitterness will make co parenting impossible and thus crushes any chance of that child to have both parents in the room, when their big moments come. So either way, the
Mhm.
kid loses. And that's what we need you to think about when it comes to this topic. You think about all the celebrities. Nick Cannon and Mariah Carey, the terrible relationships they have, and
Yeah.
also Kanye West and what's that girl named, the Kardashian girl,
Kim.
Kim Kardashian.
Kim. Mhm.
We made, come on now. You can say I was in love, but from some of these angles are really what these women were going for. And again, we're
Oh yeah.
doing this episode because some men are not swift enough to recognize what it is. Like, oh, I got her.
Mhm.
No, it's all a come up. They build them a name.
Right.
So this doesn't just apply to us regular everyday girls who punch
Mhm.
clocks. It's women out there in the world with their own money that's looking to get more money. What we're
Yep.
saying is don't put those kids in those situations, you know.
Yeah.
So
And
you
the
don't have
men
to be
know it too.
destitute. This message is not for destitute poor women. It's for all women because women
Mhm.
of any economical background can have that mindset. So I like to be
Right.
clear when we're doing these shows of who we're gearing. We're targeting everybody.
Yep.
A
We
Birdman
are.
say, "I'll tree up."
And
Now,
you
go
mentioned
ahead.
celebrity. Yeah, you mentioned
Yeah,
celebrity. So, I mean, Jay-Z, he says you've never seen an ugly billionaire. So he knows that the only way he's getting.
and right. But let me tell you now, even when men are targeting women with their money, that's cool too. Like I said, if you want to be on the come
Mhm.
up, get yourself some birth control, do whatever you got to do, abstinent, and come up with them. I'm just saying to oh Lord, unless I'm just saying when it concerns children, to think about
Children.
it.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm
Because that's
saying.
another thing. Yeah, because that's another thing with the celebrities or even the rich folks or these women that get with the men and they have these babies. A lot of times, if you look, the men end up leaving. So these kids
Yeah,
get the short end of the stick. They may, of course, due to alimony and child support or whatever, they still may live a decent life, but it's not what you saw, I'm sure, when you started down the path with this guy.
that's
I'm
it.
sure you
And
thought
like I
you were
said,
going to have a wonderful future,
and like
but
you
for the
said too,
wrong
Jay Z
reason.
said, yeah, you never saw ugly
Mhm.
billionaire. That's what
Mhm.
I'm saying. So even if the man is with it, oh, let's get together. I got this money. You still have to think long term. What kind of qualities
Yeah.
does this man bring? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because if it's
Mhm.
not father material, money can't make him father material. So
No.
even if you don't
Mm-mm.
trick the guy, even if you aren't just going out and snaking your way in to get on the come up, like I said, even if they introduce it to you, no, thank you. We can date, we can ball out, you can do whatever, but don't bring a kid into that situation. If this guy, if you can't look at him and say, I see myself with him in 50 years, 20 years, at least till the child is grown, don't do it. Just don't
Right.
do it. And
Right.
Shannon, it's another angle to this topic too that we discussed. Having children on the system over and over is just as bad.
Over and over.
Oh,
Yeah.
a lot of us have been down on our luck at one point or another, right? And needed some
Mhm.
assistance
Yeah.
or help from the government, family, friends, whoever. That's life, right? And
Mhm.
that's what family and friends should do. That's what the system was created for, to assist when you're down on your luck. But having a baby and then another baby and then another baby to increase what
Mhm.
monthly benefits the government is giving you is wrong. And I say that with
Mhm.
all the love possible, ladies. Again, never judging, never beating you down. But we have to want better for ourselves. We have to want better
Yeah.
for those kids we're choosing to bring into the world
And get out of survival mode. And if
and get out of
you
survival mode.
yeah, and the only way to get out of survival mode is to stop using the system and to use your own 2 feet,
That's it.
you
And
know?
what you may get a few dollars a few more dollars every
Oh,
month after
yeah.
you have another kid. But is that worth the years of responsibility that comes with raising a child,
Mm,
right? And I'm gonna get
right.
a little deep and say something that must be said. Some of y'all are not even caring for the kids you have on the system. So why have
Mhm.
more on top of it?
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
no judgment. It's just that we have to do better as women.
Mhm.
And sometimes
Yeah.
the only way to do better is to know better, right? And that's why we
Right.
choose to go here today. Not to belittle anyone,
Mhm.
not to downgrade
Right.
anyone.
Not
Some
at
people
all.
have come from a family that lives off of the system, and that's all they know. So let us tell you
Yeah.
that it's a better way. If you haven't seen it, if you haven't heard, that's what we're here for to tell you. It's a better way. It's
Yeah.
a
And I can
stepping
tell
stone.
people.
It shouldn't
Mhm.
be a staying place.
Right. It's a stepping stone. And I look back, I'm single mother, trying to make ends meet before I got into technology. I had worked 2 jobs. I had to do what I had to
Girl,
do,
talk about it. I worked too
and
and went to college and nursing school. Talk about it.
yeah. And I remember in the 90s, my mother said, you need to buy something, a piece of property. You need that for your taxes, whatever.
Mhm.
And I was like, buy something. I make $12 an hour. I make
What am I buying?
$12 an hour. And she said, you can go buy something. And I'm telling you, my mother is that way. And sure enough, I went out and purchased a $60,000 condo,
See?
making $12 an hour. So people, I know nowadays that was the 90s. You're not going to find a
Right.
condo for 60,000. But my point is that $12 an hour, I didn't let that stop me. Did the research, I did the math, and it turned out, of course, my mortgage payment ended up being less than my rent. So
See? And that's the
my
thing.
mother was smart. Mhm.
She was. And that's the thing though. You said 12,000 an hour. I know it's not possible to buy a $60,000 condo, but you also are not making 12,000 an hour. You're not thinking minimum wage
Right.
is what, 15, $16 an hour,
Yep.
whatever it is. Where
Mhm.
there's a
Yep.
will, there's a way. Maybe you
There's
can't
a way.
purchase a condo, but if your hourly rate, if your salary in whatever town or state you live in, you can buy something well within that
Mhm.
range. If
Right.
your minimum wage is $13, well, more than likely they're not gonna have a whole lot of $200,000 houses. Buy what you can
Right.
afford, and even if
That's
it's not
right.
what you want, buy what you can afford. My first house was
Yeah.
beautiful. I bought it at 24. It wasn't what I wanted, Shannon. It was what I can afford, but it was nice.
Yes.
It wasn't
Yep.
raggedy. It wasn't no holes in it. It
Mhm.
was actually a brand new remodel. It wasn't in a
Mhm.
desired neighborhood, but it was a safe neighborhood for my daughter and I
Yeah.
because her
Yep.
father was gone and I was a single mom and I was doing what I had to do. So it can be
Mhm.
done. You know,
It can
it
be
absolutely
done.
can be done. And for people that are listening that may say, now what the heck? What is the correlation between men with money and the system? Well, let me tell you. The children become pawns either way.
Yep.
One just pays better than the other, right? So we
Right.
want to cover
Mhm.
all bases to make it clear. We're not just talking about women who are having children for checks when it comes to men. We're talking about women who are having children for any financial reason. It it's no
Yes.
good, you know. And
Not
and
at
I'll wrap
all.
up and leave you guys with this before I go into the red line. When it comes to children's for check, it's plenty of ways to secure and achieve security in life. Shannon just talked about buying her a
Mhm.
condo, investing in property, having a tax write-off. There's plenty of ways to do it. Having children
Mhm.
for financial gain should never be an option. And that's just all we want you guys to see here. That should never be an option because
Exactly.
I want to make that clear because I know somebody be like, how the hell they go from rich ballers to the welfare system? It's all the same. Either way, don't allow
Yep.
those kids to become a way for you to come up or get over. You know, choose better
Right.
and do better. You know, it's not healthy or
Yes.
wise for anyone involved, but it's especially harmful for those innocent kids. So
Mhm.
they have no
Yeah.
choice in who their parents are. Kids have no choice in our poor decisions. So let's make sure that we set them up from the start on a good track and on a good path. Have a better
Yeah.
story to tell about how they came into the world and not let it be
Mhm.
financial gain.
Yep.
All right. You got anything else to add to that, sister?
I have nothing else other than love your children, people. Love your
Love them
children.
and have them for the right reasons. All
Yes.
right, sister. Well, I'm going to go off into the red line for tonight.
All right.
All right. This week's red line is titled Money Goes Away, but Children Are Here to Stay. Ladies,
Mhm.
I hope I've given you something to think about when it comes to the harm you can cause by bringing children into the world for financial reasons only. But it's also something else I want you to think about and consider as a mother. Money comes and goes. The responsibility of raising that child is a lifetime commitment. Let's say you do trap a decent father and he pays child support at the age of 18 and maybe I think it's 21 in some states. Once they're that age, that's gone. And it's the same for the government. Once the child's of a certain age, you're
Mhm.
cut off. Then what? Sadly, I know it's some mothers that'll say when the money's gone, I don't want the child either because they no longer serve a purpose. And then there are moms who are honestly lost because once the money is gone, you're just stuck with this young adult who's
Yeah.
now angry or vital. I'm sorry,
Mhm.
volatile because that's all they've seen from you and the father because you never
Right.
really wanted them in the first place. And damaged people hurt people. Damaged people will
Mhm.
leave a path of other damaged people, and the cycle will just continue. Now, we also
Right.
know from my own story that sometimes you become the exception, right, to your circumstances, and you turn out just fine. Yes, it's a possibility that a baby born out of financial gain can just be fine. The parents can be great and everything can rock and roll. But check the odds and see how often that happens. So
Right.
if you think with that mentality, ask yourself, is it worth it in the end? Because no one can assure the outcome. Or is it wiser to just be a good person and let the life that is already predestined for you find you? And that's my red line topic for tonight.
All right. Wonderful, wonderful red line, Sean. So, if you would like to win a $100 gift card, submit your red line topic to wifey and baby mama at gmail.com. And the third Thursday of each month, as you all know, the third Thursday of each month, we will choose one of those submissions. And that submission we will read on air, and that individual will receive a $100 gift card. So if you want your $100 gift card, send your red lines in wifey and baby mama at gmail.com. We look forward to reading them. Thanks so much to everyone. All right. Now, into our final segment of the night. It is the fictional family I'm feeling. Feeling tonight is the Murphy family. Diana and David Murphy from Indecent Proposal. And as those of you who've seen the movie, I'm sure many people have. It's from the 90s.
You know I have.
Uh, I know you
I
have.
watch all the movies.
So we know this billionaire saw Diana, David's wife, and said, "Oh, I want her," and he offered $1 million if he could have a night with her. And David, because they were going through financial difficulties or whatever, they sat down as a couple and decided we could use the money. So she goes off or whatever, and of course, how do you think things go? Things fall apart. Their lives are upended or whatever. And then the scene I'm coming to is the scene where she's at the tea party, it gets rained out or whatever, brunch tea party. They're in a garden outside setting.
It's an
And
auction.
oh, it's an art. Oh, see,
Yeah, it's
you
an
know
auction.
all the details. You probably remember what they were wearing.
All white, but go
I know.
ahead.
See? Oh Lord. Okay,
I
so
need a life right. Go ahead.
so he's there. He says, "I'm going to give you the divorce that you want." And he says to her, he says, "I was foolish to think that we could go back to the way things were after what we did, because that decision, even though she was the one that slept with the billionaire, the decision was theirs collectively as a married couple." And he says, "One thing I learned, um, or one thing I know, maybe not necessarily learn, is that, what happens in a marriage, you can uh, forgive, but you can't forget what you've
Mm-hmm.
done to each other." And he signs the divorce papers and he says to her, he says, "One thing, I just didn't want you to be with him." He said, "Because I thought he was better than me. I thought he was the better man." He said, "But now I see, no, he's not. He just has more money."
Mm.
And I'm like, powerful. So that thought right there, let him see his self worth, which everyone, including all the ladies that we're talking to, see your own self-worth and know that money is not going to do it. You can go make the money. I'm not knocking making money. Believe me, Sean and I are all about
Right.
making money. We're not
Right.
out here trying to get it in ways that we did not really put our hard-earned earnest work into. That's the message
Absolutely.
we want to get across. So they gave up, almost lost their marriage. So if you saw the movie, in the end, they end up getting back together, but their marriage was almost ruined for money. Everything can be ruined for money. So
Yep.
make sure if you're trying to build and grow, you're doing it the way you should do it and not off of someone else's back, whether it's
That's
the
it.
baller or the system.
And
And that
in
is
that
the fictional. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sean.
no, no, I thought, yeah, before you wrap it up, I was trying to catch you. That's
Yeah, yeah.
that's a very important part. And although they had no children in the movie, lessons are they do have
Mhm.
kids. You know how
Yes.
detrimental that could have been? You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
But they did
yeah,
have a
yeah,
baby in a sort of way. Remember, they had the house, they had that dream house, and
yeah,
so they
that
ended
dream
up
house.
having her sleep with the man because she said, "This is how we could buy that house we want." But let me tell you
Mhm.
that God can give you anything you want if you do the work and if you follow
Anything.
His lead. I know that because I just finished a book that took me 10 years that seemed impossible. But if you do the
Mhm.
work, if you do it in His will, His timing, and guess what? Sometimes we want things and we don't want the process of going through it. The
Right.
process sometimes is all about learning. Maybe in the
Yep.
time it takes you to get some money on your own or to marry a decent regular guy and you build it together, you learn the things in life you need to go so that you can raise that perfect family. If you rush it and you pass go, then guess what you're doing? You're running the child off the top.
Mhm.
Sometimes going through the
Ah,
process is all a part of getting to where we need to be. So people want
yep.
the promise, they want the testimony without the test. We got to take the whole route. We can't skip any steps, or I guarantee you it's
Nope.
not going to turn out the way you think. Maybe for a little while,
Right.
but in the end, it'll end badly. So
Yep.
that was great. And
Yep.
like you said, they almost lost their marriage. Now, all the money in
Mhm.
the world didn't mean what she meant to him. So in that moment,
Nope.
it seemed okay. But in the scheme of things, it totally ruined him as a person. I think he started drinking and she wasn't
Oh,
happy,
yeah.
you know?
Nope.
So money is never the answer. So that is a great
Never.
fictional family girl. Awesome.
Oh, thank you. All right. So that is our show for tonight. We thank you all for joining us, and we look forward to next week, 7:30 Thursday every week. Um, we love that we're growing. Last week, I think we were in 8 countries. This week, we're in 9. So
9, yeah.
9 countries, I guess. Yes, I'm supposed to clap and cheer for our 9
Yes.
countries as we're growing across the globe. We are so
We are going to
happy.
celebrate us
Um,
as we give these people advice too, Shan. We're going to celebrate our steps also.
yes, yes, we are. We are. And we appreciate you celebrating with us.
Absolutely. And keep listening.
Yes, keep listening. All right. Until next week.
Love you all. Bye.